When we started the morning show, when we started New Day this morning, I talked about the ECOWAS Industrial Summit that's holding today at the Accra International Conference Center. And so we're discussing this. My guests are Dr. Gideon Kwaku. He is the chairman of the National Planning Committee. And next to me is Mr. Setum Akwabwa, Chief Executive Officer, Association of Ghanaian Industries. You're welcome, gentlemen. So perhaps I can first start with WASIP, the West African Common Industrial Policy. After all, it's an industrial summit, and this policy, aims at maintaining a solid industrial base, solid industrial structure, which, is globally competitive and will significantly improve the standard of living, at least for people in the sub-region. This was launched in 2010. I want to ask, what steps have been taken since then to ensure that we're closer to this objective?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
As you rightly said, the need for industrialization in the West African sub-region is critical, and we all appreciate it. And at individual country level, every country is trying to make some effort to industrialize. But we thought that as an integrated economy, we should make effort to put our resources together and do things that are common in nature. A key part of the industrialization policy is also trade. And that's why we've come out with the Common External Tariff, which has already started. So it's a key part of it. But the critical thing is that industries in this sub-region must be empowered in terms of properly stable macroeconomic conditions to foster private sector development. We've also talked about the challenge with access to medium to long-term funding. And industrial policy, the common industrial policy is trying to address it. How do we attract capital into the sub-region? And I think at the individual country level, a lot is happening. But as ECOWAS, through the ECOWAS Commission, we are aware that not too much has happened in terms of bringing the resources together.
Yes.
And making sure that we spread the investment the way we all planned.
Because you're still using future tenses, must be done, should be done. And the point is, very often we have various regional fora like this, and they're fast becoming talk shops where we reach agreements, we even ratify, but implementation takes almost forever.
I agree with you, but that is what is even more important to have a forum like this, because then you never take stock of what has happened in the past, you never learn from the experiences of the past, and you never forge forward. We all see the importance of this. We have come together, we've managed to develop a whole common industrial policy with specific targets and all that.
By 2030.
But yes, we should be monitoring to see how far we've come. And as I indicated, there has been some effort at the individual country level, but are they converging to create the kind of atmosphere and environment that we want? And 4 years down the line or 6 years down the line, if you are taking stock, it is very important. So that is the reason why this summit is even more important, and we are inviting countries from various parts of West Africa.
So we will take stock at this summit.
We will take stock at this summit. And we are also looking at new ways of doing things. We need to share knowledge. We need to share information. The various sectors that are going to be discussing this. We're talking about the pharmaceutical sector, the garment sector, the automobile sector. These sectors, they are going to be groupings of this nature to discuss in depth what strategies we should adapt as West Africa. And what new knowledge has come, what technology has to be shared and all that. So it is very important that we have a summit of this nature, and we encourage people to participate, understand the issues, and adapt new ways of doing things. And more importantly, network with our West African countries. At individual level, it is very difficult to develop on your own because, the population itself, individual population size is small. But when we come together, it's a big market. And we are trying to attract foreign direct investment into the West Africa sub-region for industrialization purposes.
So we have participation of guests from within the sub-region, from Africa, from Europe.
Exactly. And it's so important that we get interested in
so Dr. Kwaku, who are organizing this? This is an ECOWAS Industrial Summit, but Ghana is hosting it. Is Ghana organizing this?
Ghana is organizing this. And it actually is part of a program of work that the ECOWAS Commission launched some time back. And so the organization principally has been Ghana's responsibility, because I guess Ghana volunteered or was asked and agreed to be the one to hold the first, such summit. So we are organizing it, finding the resources to make it happen, and so on. We've had some great sponsors who have weighed in with cash, you know, to make the various parts of the program work.
Okay.
Yeah. Originally, the idea was that there may be some ECOWAS infusion of funding. Along the way, we realized that Ghana had to, as the one hosting it, really find the resources to drive it, you know, and so we've done that.
Okay. I see that there are topics, quite a number of topics to be discussed at the summit today, but I'd like to send, I see pharmaceutical industry session, there's one session, and then there's a textiles and garment session at the summit today. The story of the textile industry in Ghana is a very unfortunate one. Once upon a time, this was a booming industry that employed some 25,000 people. Years down the line, most of them have closed down production. You know, industry watchers have attributed the near collapse of the industry to trade liberalization policies, which have allowed an influx of textiles into the country from China and elsewhere. So is this a worthwhile venture to be affiliated with this venture? Is it even worthwhile when a group, a sub-regional group like this hasn't even been able to help us protect our local industries? In this case, the textile industry.
Well, I think the issue you mentioned is critical, but it's being tackled at the individual country level. In Ghana, we've done quite a lot in trying to protect, you know, the local textile industry. But I agree with you. It's a sad story. I mean, a sector that was employed about 30,000 years back, today we are employing less than 3,000. So I can fully agree with you. But I think at the Ministry of Trade level, there was a task force set up, including the police, the customs, the industrial players and all that. And we were able to stem a bit of the influx of the pirated textiles. That helped a bit, but that is still not the solution.
Yes,
you see, so many things have to be done. It's about competitiveness. China today has been quite competitive because they have access to so many things. Power cost is not as high as we are experiencing today. Access to finance and the cost of capital is not so much as we have today. Labor, yes, now labor cost in China is rising, but labor productivity is higher. And when it comes to textiles, these things matter. It's a very slim margin industry. The margins are very slim, so the slightest change in the cost of production, then you are uncompetitive. But then you need to protect your market a little bit. But don't forget that we are also part of a global village. We are part of the WTO. There are all kinds of arrangements that also prevents us to go full hog to say we are banning the imports of textiles. And if you talk to most of our textile companies, they will tell you that our problem is not so much competition. It is rather the unfair trade. The unfair trade means that they take time to design, invest in their design, and the next few weeks it's gone to China and is being copied and is coming to the country. Secondly, people bring the goods into the country and they're invoicing, not paying the right duties and all that. So the unfair trade angle, for me, is even more critical than the competitiveness. Some of our textile companies are strong, and indeed they are prepared to, you know, compete. We are not saying ban the textiles, but make sure that if they are coming into the country, let them come through the approved routes, let them pay the right duties, let them pay the right taxes, and then let's compete fairly. And don't come and copy my design. Come with your own unique design. If it is good enough for people to buy, no problem with it. So it is that angle that we really need to look at. But as a country, Ghana is trying to look at all this and resolve it. But at the ECOWAS level, we need to be careful as well, because some of the goods come from our borders. So if we are policing it and we only police within Ghana, and we don't police throughout West Africa, then that's a challenge. And that is why a summit of this nature should look at what is it that we can do as West Africa, you know, to prevent this kind of unfair trading going on through
but it's a one-day summit. How much can be said within a day?
Well, it's a one-day summit, and you can still accomplish a lot in one day.
But I suppose the perk of this summit is what follows after, which is the Ghana-China Investment Forum, because I understand China has expressed interest in exploring business opportunities here. Yes?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've expressed that interest and been expressing it for a very long time. But I want us to see the ECOWAS Industrial Summit as being set for ECOWAS countries to harmonize their approaches to policies that will drive industrialization in the various countries. It is very important that there is that convergence of agreement, that this is how we are proceeding. There are things like technology that we need to look at, innovation that we have to look at. If you look around the world, there are approaches to getting things done that we have not necessarily caught up with as a sub-region. So that is a whole conversation that needs to be deepened and actions taken on it within ECOWAS. The Ghana-China one is an ongoing story that had started for some decades now.
Okay, but at least we're beyond expressing interest. Oh, well, yeah. They're in talks with the Ministry of Trade.
At least about maybe 100 Chinese companies or more. I think about 110 going to participate in this. And part of the design for that program, the Ghana-China program tomorrow, which is being dubbed an investment forum, is for a B2B business-to-business linkages made sort of session, which will really be the core activity, bringing the Chinese side and the Ghanaian side together.
Thank you.
You know, for areas of mutual interest and so on.
Thank you. In attendance, guest of honor, His Excellency, the President.
Excellency, and for the China program, in attendance, His Excellency the Vice President.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gideon Kwaku, Chairman of the National Planning Committee, and Mr. Setchum Akwabwa, Chief Executive Officer, Association of Ghanaian Industry. So it starts at what time?
9 o'clock.
At 9 this morning.
Very soon.
Yes.
We'll do the registration. Then there will be the first session, which is really the opening session, where His Excellency the President speaks and others speak from within the sub-region. And then we'll go into the second session, where we'll have the plenary and dealing with the subject areas.
Thank you very much.
If I may, Dr. just Kwaku, for 30 seconds, agro-processing is a big piece of this. And we're talking about, if you take collectively the sub-region, we consume about 181 kilowatt hours, compared to, say, the US, 13,000, compared to Europe, 6,500. We're way behind in the industrial capacity. We want to scale this up. And this is a story for ECOWAS. I'm looking forward, you know, to the recognition that we must move beyond talk and get to action, as you said in your intro.
Yes, thank you again. All right, you're watching NewDay.